But regardless of that, you are here. And just as you need oxygen to breathe, just as you need blood to get oxygen to the places that it needs to go so it can do what it's supposed to do, you need food, you need clothing, you need shelter, you need education, you need healthcare, you need transportation, you need infrastructure. You need everything that you can imagine that you need to do the things and to accomplish the things that you want to do. Those are your basic human rights for being here. And anything that would stop that is your worst enemy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem when I come to you and talk to you about the kinds of things that I do talk to you about that seems to be ignored. I understand why. It's just that we don't know anything. We don't understand it. But as I was focusing on that, I thought about my upbringing. And I thought about this is who I really am. You know, I used to go to church all the time. I was raised by some very old people. They didn't play that. My great-grandfather was a Mason. My great-grandmother was an Eastern Star. They had me there. And we didn't talk in the house. We didn't just talk about God or anything like that. We just talked about right and wrong. We just lifted up doing the right things. That was just that. And when you go to church, you get a chance to hear him talk about, you know, the biblical stuff. But there was one story that amazed me, and that was Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ amazed me to the max. Now, I realize most folks don't believe in Jesus Christ. That's okay. I believe that, and I know that most people, or should I say I've read that many people, think that Jesus Christ is just a continuation of stuff that started even before Jesus Christ could have ever been thought of. But that doesn't matter. It is not the person, it's the message that's so divine to me. I always saw that regardless of pain and suffering, the best thing you could do was to eliminate it. I always thought that the things that you suffer for, that cause you so much, that make you want to die, that make you want to fight, that make you want to kill, I just thought that those things should be satisfied so that you would not have to do that. And as I stand here today, I'm still focusing on all of that kind of stuff. And I think about stuff like this. The earth is made by a power outside of ourselves. We know that, right? Now, if one group of us want to rule the earth or own the earth, what would that kind of represent? It would kind of represent greed in that we would want something that we know is not ours, that we can't even understand, but we want it. We don't need it. So you might associate that with greed. I can see that as being greed. But what else happens when you got the earth? Then all that's on the earth, especially people, they are on your earth. What does that mean? That means you got power. Power to do what you want. So you got greed and power. And when we stand here on this earth, in these bodies, being denied our basic human rights, what is being said to us? Is anybody saying that you should be free? That you should live in peace? That you should be prosperous? That you should live with joy and happiness in your life and experience your dreams rather than thinking about them or dreaming about them, but living them? I mean, you get a message like that. Now, why? Because greed and power is what those that are grabbing at it wants. And in order to get we the people, they stick out a bait, something that will hook us. All right. You heard me say a moment ago about your basic human rights. Now, when you come to your basic human rights, that power that made us also provided the resources, the materials necessary for us to be able to do any of those things. See, this power is fantastic. When I talk to you about God, baby, I'm not talking to you about your husband. I'm not talking to you about your wife. I'm not talking to you about your political party. I'm not talking about your love group and your hate group. I'm talking about the power. Doggone it. Nobody playing games with you. But anyway, all of a sudden, all of those resources are owned by that one that's greedy, that one that's seeking power. And so how do they exert that power? How do they get us? Well, since they own everything, they put price tags on it. Price tags. Now this, I'm kind of bringing it to a level that we who are not with PhDs can understand it. But we got to have that money to get some food. We got to have that money to get some clothes. We got to have that money to have somewhere to stay. And when you got to have that money, then whoever has that money controls what you do. They control what you're doing is all about. And all you're trying to do is survive. You're not thinking about what they're doing. They're putting all kind of scams on the people of the world. But we just trying to survive. Hoping that there would be those amongst us who had enough courage, who had enough of a relationship with God to stand up and say, this is hell. And if you haven't experienced it, thank you. But it's still hell for those that have. And if it exists and you don't see it, it's still hell. And if it exists and you see it and don't do anything about it, it's still hell. So, when we're in a situation that is identified such as that, we're all in hell. Taking care of hell's business. You want to say, what is the difference between this is which gives and that which takes? Ask yourself. Being here is given. Take is gone. You talk about the devil. In our education, our miseducation, our lack of education, we come up with all kinds of concepts. All kinds. We believe whatever someone is bold enough and destructive enough to stand up and throw at us and back it. And so that hook that is necessary to aid us to achieve that stuff that we can survive. Again, put on that hook, a bait, M-O-N-E-Y. And so while we're out there trying to get that money, we don't think about one another. We don't have time. And the system is designed to keep you from thinking about stuff like that. You don't have time to think about compassion. You just want to make sure that you can breathe. But what is all of that worth? What is the real message that is being given? The real message that is being given is the devil on this earth is we, the people. We are the satanic forces on this earth. Now, does that mean that there isn't what we call as, or have been referred to as the spiritual devil? I don't know. I have heard that it exists. I don't know. Somebody say, well, have you heard that God exists? Have you ever seen God? I say, yes, I've seen God. They say, where? I say, I'm standing on God. I'm looking at God. So I don't have to go too much further than that. So God got it going on. When I look at me, I'll just use me because I know me. I know all of us want to really, feel like life is the greatest thing that could have ever happened to us. I know all of us want to feel that way. All of us want to experience that. And believe you me, it was made. Like a kid, a little kid, they just get up in the morning time. And if everything else is going smooth with the family, with the household, with the world, The kid gets up, go through the routine of preparation to get up, eat, and go through whatever they have to go through, whether it's nursery school or whatever little school they go to, or whether it's going to the playground. Man, oh man, oh man, it's a joy. And don't think about the friends that they don't live with, but they can see the next day at the park. Wow. Now, that should be you and I. That's teaching us right there. That's teaching us a lesson. Now, this lesson, we learn how to be compassionate. We learn how to have, I just want to say one word, love for one another. Now, there's another level that's going on that's higher than that, than the kids. That's the parents. Now, in order for these kids to enjoy this life and to be able to do this stuff and keep smiling and keep on singing and going to church, these parents got to go through what they got to go through. It's a different level. And see, you look at the two and you say, well, how can you kind of say that growing up teaching this love thing and seeing the next level that you get, it brings you another teaching. So how do you dwell that out? Well, this is where it takes the boldness. It takes really God. Because the challenge is always there. You're going to always run with the challenge, the opposite. You're going to always run into it. And if you're real, you can always deal with it. Now, when you come up out of that kid stuff, yes, it might catch you a little strange. Well, maybe especially if your parents didn't prepare you for it. And you're going to come straight up in that same old stuff that they came up in. That challenge didn't go away. It's how you're going to deal with that challenge. Now, I'm going to use a little, that family structure thing to explain this. You say that the man is the husband and father, the head of the household. He's ready to prepare and take care of the situation, right? So what would a man do in a situation like that? A man would stand up for what's right. That's what a man would do. I don't care what the situation would. He's looking for one thing. What? What he's standing up for. Anything else is unacceptable. I want my family treated right. And they missing this, they missing that. This ain't working right. You're the sister. We're gonna fix this before we go into place else. You got to fix it. It cannot go another step. That's what a man would do. But then the alternative would be somebody would say, "Well, I can't do that for you because we're trying to do this. But I tell you, we can yield a little bit over here, like the Republicans and Democrats do. Make people think that they got a choice in something. You don't really have a choice. But anyway, that's what they do. And so you say, well, it's better to have something. I don't feel like going through this big struggle. So maybe sometime up ahead it'll get right. And so you yield, you bend, you compromise. That's a wimp. That's a wimp. That's what the world basically is made up of, wimps. Let me give you an example. Now, I don't mean any harm, but I want you to understand. This is serious business. When the West was won, you remember back in the days that they see the movies about the soldiers taking the Indians' land? The men would fight back, the warriors would fight back. They're not going to take this stuff, and most of them died standing up. And the rest of them said, well, I don't think I want to go that far. So, yes, sir, I'll bend. Hoping that one day up the road, things going to get better. That didn't just happen with them. It happened with others, Chinese. It happened with black people. The men, the soldiers, they didn't stand for this stuff. Slavery, oh, baby, they wasn't going for that. And if they were chained till they got to the whipping stage, they still were ready to fight. They still were fighting. Why? Because they weren't going for it. But then there were those who said, well, I don't want to go through that, so I'll bend. Yes, sir, I'll bend. A wimp, all of that. And that's what the world is made of, people who bend it. People who bend it. Because somebody going to tell you going to bend. If you want this, you going to bend. That's why you got so many people that are manipulated. I heard one guy say if he can get somebody to do something to him, that he wasn't worried about nothing. And to get money to do the things that is needed, that people want done, they'll do anything. Not everybody would do anything, but humankind would do anything. So my message, I know I'm talking long today, but I'm telling you this because myself, let me give you an example. Let me tell you why I stand here and talk to you. I know what I'm talking about. Now look, I live on a fixed income, Social Security. You can see I'm old. I probably have retired I retired a long time ago, so my retirement is kind of small. But it allows me to do certain things like pay the phone bill so I can make this post and give it to you. Maybe get a little medication. And maybe go every now and then buy some food. Maybe have a few dollars to put some gas in the car. Stuff like that. But for some strange reason, a mix-up came about. And I checked the account to see what I had in this morning, which is, I can supposedly can find out. I had 35 cents. That was from the last time. Now, all of the things that I normally pay for, I'm going to be able to do any of that because of messed up in the system. Now, that problem happened, and it's immediate. Now, getting this problem fixed will probably take 2 or 3 months. And in the meantime, whatever happens, happens. But what I want to say by saying that is this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it God's way. Let me just go straight to it. Just get down to the real nitty-gritty. This is the time. Not yesterday. Yesterday had its time. Tomorrow is coming. But today is the time for us to stand up. Let us stand up. Every last one of you know that the resources of this earth were given not by us, but to us. Every last one of you know that in one way or another, we benefit from these resources. Not only that, we also know that every resource that is made manifest on this planet right now, we, the human beings, are the ones that's doing it. And what are we doing it for? We're supposedly doing it so we can have these needs, these wants, and these desires met. That's what we're supposed to be doing in such an abundance that no one would suffer. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That allows us to continue to live in a life just like we were little kids at home playing in the park. Because life has been explained to us, we understand it, and we're living it. But no, some turkey came in and told us a lie, and a wimp came up and said we're being. And after bending, we got people living in the streets, and the rest of us don't even care because we ain't got time to care. When we wouldn't have to worry about any of that. It is set up in such a way that the jobs and things that we do are given to us, and if we're choosing what to do, what we do, then we love it doing it. And if we're loving doing it, baby, there's no end. But we are bought to the most lie. I tell you about the things that you can have. That to me is a good thing. There's somebody else over there telling you they want to take away your right to vote. You don't want to have, you can't say nothing. What does that represent to you? To me, that's the pit of hell. Whoever mouth is coming out is talking about the pit of hell. One who would say, I want to take away your health care, reduce it. You're getting too much. It's coming from the pit of hell. That's what I say. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, a straight or gay. It's coming from the pit of hell, according to what I understand. But you, the people, that's what's important. It's not about what I understand or what they say. It's about what you understand and what you will accept. Will you be a man or a woman bold enough to stand up for what's right, or will you be a wimp? And your kids come through life as a toddler having a good time, only to step out of that stage into hell. I'm asking you, trust God. These Republicans don't have it's DeSantis. To me, all he spews is stuff out of hell. He doesn't understand anything about love. He doesn't understand about what is right. He's about greed and power. Trump. But that's not, I just mentioned those because they're so out front. But that's all of us. One way or another, we're interconnected. One way or another. When this hell catch a fire, we will all burn. It ain't no, you're going to be sucked out. We're going to all burn. You better try to wake up and end this threat by creating something brand new. Let us do it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to talk to you any longer. Nothing I can say would be new, and I just want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. And I want to thank those of you who have just joined, became a subscriber. I am really blessed, and I hope that you're not just listening. I hope that you're getting something in that. The evidence, if you are, will be that you will share it with others. But if you're not, thanks anyway. Until next time, Eddie Marcus, say goodbye for now.